Thank you for staying with us here on City View. We're talking with our own city manager, Jeff Bremer. Mr. Bremer.
Hello again.
Thank you so much for doing this show. This is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying sitting and chatting with you, and I'm learning a lot, as I hope our viewers are too.
Well, thanks. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity to spend some time.
So, Jeff, I understand our Public Works Administration, or Public Works Department, just got re-accredited.
Yes.
So, for people like me and many others, what exactly does that mean? They're re-accredited.
Well, there's actually our police department just got their re-accreditation, and our public works department got their re-accreditation. And when you get a re-accreditation, it means that we have accomplished a number of different goals and have met criteria that's set by peers within the various departments. So you have an association of public works, and they come up with criteria. In the private sector, it might be like Q2000, or they accomplish a certain level of proficiency.
Okay.
And it's the same here with our police department. It's the same here with our public works. And so the police department, they were given the highest accreditation that any police department can get.
Oh, very good.
And it's not a surprise to me that they get that, because we're the safest city in the state of Florida for populations of 100,000 or more. That's reflected in the dedication and loyalty of the police department, who follow procedures, and therefore they're following national guidelines, and they get a re-accreditation.
What would be the downside of not being re-accredited?
Well, it would indicate that there are issues with our operations. And take the Public Works Department, for example. They just had, they were the most recent accreditation. They have peers come in from around the country, and they come typically from other cities. They come in and they have a set of questions, they have a set of criteria that they check. So they go out and they see our operations, and they ask questions about how we do things and what our policies, practices, and procedures might be. They grade those against the standard, and then they come back and they determine how we do.
Wow.
And if we're successful at that, then we get re-accredited. If we're not, then we have problems in our organization that we need to address. So for the police department and for our public works, it tells us that our practices and our policies and all of our procedures are top-notch as compared to a large picture that people are looking at. And I'll go back to Public Works, and I kind of sat in on a couple of the sessions, and a part of their review is a tour of the city. And
okay.
I came back after they were done with the tour, and sometimes when you live in your own city, you're your own worst critic, right?
Sure,
and
of course.
So you tend to see things that you think are wrong, and because, oh gosh, it's terrible. But I get a perspective from the outside, given the fact I've been in other cities and I've seen the way other cities operate. The peers came back, the group that is in charge of reviewing our accreditation came back, and they noted a number of things. One, they noted that this is among the cleanest towns that they have seen as they travel the country to look at other accreditations.
That's wonderful. That's great.
And they noted that we are so devoid of litter that it's remarkable. And litter is a nonstop battle. I mean, we can literally we go up and down a street, we pick it up. By the time we get to the end, there's already there's already more litter. So it is a constant battle. But they noted that we do an awesome job of that. They also noted that we maintain our properties to a very high standard, and that our expectations for our own properties are very high. And I think that's true, because we have expectations of what our residents might want. We should make sure that we keep our properties up to that same standard, and they noticed that. And the third thing they noticed, and I will say this every moment that I can, is that we have dedicated and loyal employees that are there to serve the public and to make this city the best it possibly can. And to me, that when I heard that just struck at, that's why I'm here, because our organization, I think, is an incredible organization with people who really do care.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen other.
Yeah.
And to me, this is a genuine organization. We're really here to help the public.
Jeff, these almost like auditors, is it almost like being audited the way that, is this a state organization, federal organization?
No, they tend to be national organizations. Okay. And you're right. And so as auditors would have standards that they have to comply with and we have to match, it's no different when you're going for a re-accreditation or an accreditation.
And the police were also accredited?
Police were also accredited, and they were recognized for, again, their organizational structure, the way that they respond, the way that their practices and policies are established. So how they do things is as much as the efficiency of the department. So when you have a high efficiency department, that will translate into low crime. And
yes.
it'll also translate into the fact that, you know, we have a higher than normal case resolution. We resolve our cases, we solve our cases to a higher degree than many other cities. And they look at it from more of a a policing perspective and maybe a neighborhood policing type of perspective. It's how we conduct ourselves and how we patrol the streets and how we are able to identify potential crime and how we respond to certain calls for service. It's all a part of the big mix, and there are many, many components. And you know, when you get that re-accreditation, you know, you probably have 300-400 criteria that you have to meet or exceed in order to get that re-accreditation.
I've never heard anything negative about our police department. Only wonderful things about them. And our police chief, John Bulldog, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I think that, you know, every department, every city, every organization has its issues, and that's inescapable. But in our case, you know, we're a well-run organization, and I think a part of that has to do with the fact that the employees are so dedicated to their jobs, you know, and that they're satisfied in their positions. That they're, you know, when you love the city that you're working for and you truly believe in the mission, it kind of makes the job easy.
Absolutely,
and
it does.
And I sense that throughout the organization, and that's why I see you know, people working hard every day.
Yes. So, Mr. Jeff, we've touched on the accreditation. We've touched on the low crime rate. What else is happening in our city right now?
Well, I'm just going to pull this little sheet here because there's a number of things. But you know,
that's a big sheet. That's not
kind of talking about, you know, how others perceive us in relationship to what we might think. You know, continuing on with the fact that peers that look at our various departments, you know, they see our city in a hugely positive way, but others also. From the outside, see the city as being, I use awesome a lot, but you know, to me that you can't get any stronger positive word than awesome.
Sure.
And so who
are you hearing from? Who's telling you all these wonderful things?
Well,
are you getting calls from other city managers saying, hey, Jeff, we heard wonderful things about Port St. Lucie?
You know, I will get that from every visitor or friend that comes down and sees the city. They say it's an incredible city.
Excellent.
You know, and it's not just the city in general, but it's, you know, we're the heart of the Treasure Coast. So not only are we the heart, but we also have, you know, the access to many wonderful amenities. And I come from Michigan, where there are already a lot of really cool things to do. Yeah. To hear them come down here and say that this is a great place, an awesome place, that's wonderful. But there's also other agencies like, for example, Forbes. You know, they ranked us as one of the top places to do business,
yes.
and they also said that we're one of the best top 25 places to retire. I mean, we're an enormous city. I mean, we're 120 square miles.
Yeah, that's
and
huge.
We have almost 170,000 residents. But we also have the benefits of being able to start a business here and be able to live here and work elsewhere, or to be able to retire here. And a part of that, a part of that is the fact that we have affordable housing. We have housing that will match everybody's needs, yes. You know, and and from modestly priced all the way up to expensive. That's a part of our character, and that's why you see us. That's why I think you see this. That we're a great place to retire, and we're a great place to start a business or to have a career.
Jeff, we're going to take another quick break right now.
Okay.
I know there's a whole bunch of other things on your list here that are important to
Couple
get
more,
to.
yeah.
Oh, we could be here all day talking about the list. But we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll come back.
Great.
Thanks for staying
Thank you.
with us. Don't leave. We'll be back with more with Mr. Jeff Bremer here on City View.
I mean, you read about droughts and you read about water issues, and we're no different here in Florida. We have the Florida aquifer, and that's where we get most of our water from, and that's a finite source.